guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm doing my August book haul revisit. So this is kind of a new series I've been doing every month, and this series was inspired by Julie over at Pages and Pens, and I will leave her channel link down below, but she started doing these as well. It's been going back and watching some of her old book hauls and then kind of updating you on where she is in that process. So whether she's read them, still has them, unhauled them, hasn't read them yet, whatever the situation may be. So I thought that was a lot of fun, and it's really been forcing me to look at the books that I've been buying and to keep them in the forefront of my mind. So I am going back for the last 2 years for whatever month it is and talking about the books that I hauled that month and where I am in the process of reading them. So we'll start with 2015. So August of 2015, I hauled quite a lot of books. It was a pretty good chunky book haul. So let me show you what I have still. This first one, you guys, Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. I have not read this yet. This is the next one I need to read. I need to get back to this series because I love it. I read the first 2 books, which was Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, and I also read the novella bind-up, which was called Assassin's Blade, and I loved every single one of them. I think the first one I gave 4 stars, the second one I gave 5 stars, and then the novellas I gave 5 stars. Love the novellas. So I really want to continue on with this, and this is the next one I need to read. So I have this one, I have the next one, and then the 5th one is coming out in paperback in September, and I have already pre-ordered it in paperback. So that will be coming up in a few weeks here. I'll be getting that one. So I really need to get back to this. Like, I really want to play catch up on this one, and just, I'm upset with myself that I haven't gotten back to it sooner. So I think September is going to be the month that I read this one. The next one that I hauled is Bone Shaker, and this is by Cherry Priest. I got this at Goodwill, and I had seen this going around a little bit. I didn't hear too much about it, but I found it at Goodwill, and I was like, oh, I've heard of that, so I bought it. This, I believe, is a steampunk type of book. I've never read a steampunk book before, so I should give this one a try soon to see what I think. I don't know if I'm going to like it, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I don't know. I feel like I need to give it a try just to open my eyes to this type of book. The next one that I also found at Goodwill, Big Little Lies by Liam Moriarty, and I did read this year, and I loved every word. It was fantastic. Kept me on the edge of my seat. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I buddy read this with Jennifer, and we both loved it, so yay! And I'm really excited to watch the miniseries now. All right, this next one that I picked up is Diary by Chuck. Okay, I saw Peter from Peter Likes Books. If you have not looked at his channel yet, please, I will leave it linked down below. He is hilarious. Just his opening makes me laugh and smile. Like, he's everything. Okay, so Diary. He pronounced this author's last name in a video recently this week, and I went, oh, that's how you say it? And I can't remember how he said it now. I was saying like Palahniuk, but I think it's Palahniuk, maybe? It's tough. It's a tough last name. But he pronounced it, and I believe him over myself. So this author wrote Fight Club, and he writes some really weird books. I have read Lullaby by him, and then I own this one as well, and that's it. So I would like to give this one a try here soon and see what I think and see if he's an author I want to get more into. I don't know if I would buy a bunch of books by him, but I would definitely check him out at the library. But yeah, so this one might be coming up here soon too, and it's pretty short. Speaking of that, the next one that I had hauled was Lullaby by the same author, and I did read that one, and it was very interesting. It was very weird. It was a little bit of a magical realism type of situation. I enjoyed it when I read it, but I have unhauled it. The next one that I hauled is God of War, and this is by Marissa Silver, I believe, and I just got rid of that book. Like, I just unhauled it, and I didn't read it. And it was one of those things where I was going through my shelves and going, what am I realistically going to read, and what am I probably not really ever going to get to, or what am I not excited to get to? And that one just didn't make the cut. And then I hauled Bonhoeffer, and this is by Eric Metaxas. And this was an abridged copy of the book Bonhoeffer. And the original one is like this big. It's a really, really big biography on Bonhoeffer, who was part of, I believe, Hitler's regime, but he was also responsible for trying to stop Hitler from what he was doing. And I'm still interested in him. I'm still interested in the story. I might do that as an audiobook though, to be honest, because it is a really, really big book. And I figured if I'm going to read something like that, I want to get the whole story. So I would probably go ahead and do the big shebang one, but I'd probably do it on audiobook. So I have unhauled it. All right, the next one that I hauled is You by Caroline Kepnes. And this is one of my favorite books. This is in my top 10 favorite books of all time. It really, really is. And I read this soon after I bought it, I think, or maybe I read it in early 2016, and it was one of my favorites of last year. I'm pretty sure maybe I read it in January, but I loved it so much. This is a psychological thriller, and you are following a stalker, and you are seeing his point of view. You're in his head throughout this entire book, and it is so creepy and so well done, and it kept me on the edge of my seat, and I was finding myself being on his side, even though he is a creepy stalker person. And that messed with my head so much, and that's why I loved it. I love books that can do that to you. I always recommend this to anyone. If anyone ever wants like thriller recommendations, this is the first one I will recommend if they haven't read it yet. I absolutely loved it. And the next two books I hauled are part of a series, and that is the Lux series. So I had books 3 and 4, which are in a bind up, and book number 5. So I have not started the Lux series yet. I have books 1 and 2 on my shelf as well, and I haven't started it. I did read the first chapter of the first book when I did my try a chapter tag, and I just didn't go back to it yet. I will. I do definitely want to give this series a try. Just haven't quite gotten there yet. The next one that I hauled is one that I had never heard of before, and it was something I found on Book Outlet, and I was just browsing, and I read the description, and I thought it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. And that is Helpless by Barbara Gowdy. And this one, I believe, follows a mother who is at home with her daughter one night, and a blackout happens in their neighborhood, and then her daughter is taken from their home during that blackout. And so she has no way of knowing who took her, where they are, whatever. And so she's trying to find her daughter. Yeah, haven't read it yet. Okay, this next one is another one that I had heard about on BookTube quite a bit, and then I found it on Book Outlet, so I picked it up, and that is Killer Instinct by S.E. Green. And I believe this has kind of a Dexter spin on it, but it's with a young teenage girl, and she studies serial killers, and she wants to take them down, but she also has those same urges. So she struggles with that. This is another one. I have not read it yet, but I'm really interested to see, and I believe this has a sequel to it as well. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 books in this, but I definitely want to read this first one, see what I think. It's pretty short, so I know I can get through this really quickly. So this might be happening soon too. And the next one is another one that I found on Book Outlet. I'd never heard of it before, but when I read the description, I was really intrigued by it, and that is The Watch by Joydeep Roy Bhattacharya. And this, I believe, follows a American military troop who are in a foreign country. I don't know which one, but a native family has one of their family members killed, and I think the sister of this man who was killed walks into their camp and says, "I am not moving until you give me my brother's body back." She wanted his body to be able to bury him and to honor him and everything. And so I think from that, a lot of tension happens because the troops don't know how to handle this situation. They've never been in this situation before. You know, they don't know whether they should take her out or whether they should help her, and, you know, what's the right thing to do here. So this still like makes me go, ugh. So I definitely want to read it. I definitely want to see what this is about. But yeah, I just haven't gotten there yet. It makes me a little nervous. The next one that I hauled is Charm and Strange, and I don't remember the author of this one, but I'll have a picture here. This one I did read, and I did unhaul it. I enjoyed it when I read it. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but it follows a young boy who has definitely, you know, 2 different personalities, and he's thinking one thing in one frame of mind and then another thing in another frame of mind. So you kind of follow him struggle with that and kind of, you know, what decisions is he going to make depending on what his, what frame of mind he's in. So it was good. I enjoyed it. And I did unhaul it. So yeah. And then next I hauled a trilogy called the Capital Girls Trilogy by Ella something. I don't remember her last name. I unhauled these. I did not read them. And I unhauled them recently, actually, and it was just one of those things where I kept looking at them, and they were definitely cover buys for me, and they were super cheap on Book Outlet, so that's why I went ahead and got them. But the more I read the descriptions of them, the more I realized I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm probably going to be really annoyed with a bunch of these characters. They're teenagers, super ridiculously privileged to the point where they're probably going to be really annoying about everything. So yeah, I just got rid of them. And then I also hauled another trilogy, which is the Fame Game trilogy by Lauren Conrad, and this is another one where I don't know. I feel like I'd probably enjoy them when I read them, but I would forget them very soon afterwards. And I don't really think I want to read an entire trilogy that I'm probably going to forget pretty quickly. And, you know, I don't know if I'm really into those types of books anymore. And the last book that I hauled in August of 2015 is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This is one of my mom's favorite books of all time, and she's been telling me I should give this one a try, and then I found this on Book Outlet. I actually got it as a scratch and dent because it is damaged up here, and it's a paperback, but it's fine. It doesn't affect the pages or anything. It doesn't really bother me. But yeah, this is like a 25th anniversary edition of this book. So I definitely want to give this one a read at some point. It's very long, as you can see, so it is going to be kind of a project, but yeah, my mom has never given me bad book recommendations, and if this is one of her favorites, then I should definitely give it a try. All right, so for 2016, so my 2016 book haul was very interesting because it was actually an August and September book haul, so I combined them together. So I'm only gonna do like the first half in this video, and then for September I'll do the second half of that video. So I'm gonna kind of split this single video up into two different sections. So the first ones that I hauled were the True Rain series, and this is written by Jennifer Ann Davis. This is a young adult fantasy series. The first one is The Key, the second one is Red, and the third one is War. I actually am unhauling these currently. So they were in my most recent In and Out book haul video. And I loved these when I read them. I absolutely loved them. I ate them up. I devoured them. But I'm never going to reread them. And I'm really at a point on my bookshelves where I need to be realistic about what I keep and what I'm going to get rid of. So I know I'm never going to reread these. And I just, you know, they don't need to be taking up room on my shelves anymore. And I do want to pass these on so someone else can enjoy them because I really did. Like I said, they're YA fantasy. They're not anything overcomplicated. They're just fun. And I completely devoured them. I love them, but just don't need to hang on to them for the long haul. The next book that I hauled is Dark Horses, and this is written by Cecily von Ziegler. And this one I did read, and I did unhaul this one as well, but it is about a young girl who is going through a really hard time in her life, and she ends up going to a therapy institution that has, like, it's equine therapy. So they deal with horses as their therapy. And there is also a horse in this book. His name is Red, and he has had a really hard life as well. He's had some bad owners, and he's very hard to tame. So they end up pairing these two together, and they really find solace in each other, and they help each other out. And this one was really cool because you get a point of view from the horse, which I thought was really, really neat. Like, you're inside the horse's head. The horse has inner dialogue. It's really cool. I thought that was very unique and different. And I really enjoyed it when I read it. It was a nice surprise. And like I said, I haven't hauled it because I'll never reread it, but it was good. The next one that I hauled was The Real Liddy James, and this is written by Anne Marie Casey. And this is a book that I received for review, and I enjoyed it. It's an adult contemporary, and it wasn't anything mind-blowing, though. It was a little bit forgettable, but I do remember reading it, and I remember enjoying what I read. I just, don't need to keep it. And then I hauled The Vegetarian by Han Kang, and this one I read as well, and I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite. I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. I want to say I maybe gave it 2 stars. It was just very strange. It follows a woman who is wanting to be a vegetarian. She makes this decision, and she comes under a lot of scrutiny for it, like a lot of scrutiny. It ended up being much more than that, though. It ended up being more about mental illness than anything. And I didn't like the way the mental illness issue was handled, because it wasn't. Basically, her family just wrote her off as being crazy, and they were trying to force feed food to her, and she was having a mental breakdown right in front of their faces, and no one wanted to address that. Some weird things were happening, and I don't know, I don't know. I didn't love it. The next one that I hauled is Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and this is a nonfiction book that Cheryl wrote about her time when she was hiking a famous trail, and it has been turned into a movie recently starring Reese Witherspoon. I'm hesitant with this one because I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit like Eat, Pray, Love, which I hated, but then I've heard people say it's not anything like it and it's a lot better. So I'm like, oh, okay. So a little less hesitant now. I do need to go ahead and do this though. I mean, it's pretty short, so I think I can get through it quickly, and then I could watch the movie because I love Reese Witherspoon. But yeah, haven't read it yet. The next one I hauled is a book called Moses, A Life, and this is written by Jonathan Kirch. I've not read this one either, but this is a nonfiction book kind of studying Moses as a person from what I'm understanding. I got this when we were doing a Bible study on Moses. Like, we were literally talking about him in the Bible, and then I saw this at the store and I was like, oh, so I bought it, and I'm not sure about this one. I want to give it a try and see what I think, you know, give it some time and see, but it makes me a little bit nervous, and I'm afraid it's going to try to get too scientific about things and less biblical. And when you're talking about Moses, you need to be biblical, right? Because he is in the Bible. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know yet though. And then I hauled The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and this one I did read. I believe I read it in January of this year, and ooh, this one was dark. It is definitely a post-apocalyptic book about a man and his son who are literally trying to survive in like nothing. There's nothing. There's no food. There's no shelter. There's no clothing. Like, they are really having a really hard time, and they encounter a lot of really dangerous people. I enjoyed it when I read it. It was definitely dark and very, very sad, and it was written really originally as well. It wasn't like normal, you know, chapter 1, chapter 2 type of things. So I thought that was interesting. And we read it for book club, and most of the book club girls did not like it. I think I was the only one. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But I have unhauled it since, so. But it was good. All right, and then I hauled The Time Traveler's Wife, and this is written by Audrey Neffinger, and I have not read this one yet either. I have seen the movie. I saw the movie when it first came out. I think I saw it in theaters, so it's been a very long time since I've seen the movie, so I still want to read the book because I've heard the book is a lot better, and enough time has passed that I think I would enjoy this now, even after I've seen the movie, but I just haven't done it yet. And the last one is White Heat, and this is by MJ McGrath. And I picked this up at Goodwill. This was 100% a cover buy for me. I did read the premise, and I believe it is about a murder that happens like in a very icy, dangerous area where they're doing some research or doing something like that, and a murder happens, so they're trying to figure out who killed this man because it wasn't an accident. Yeah, I'm interested still, for sure. It's supposed to be like a mystery thriller type thing, and seriously, this cover, like, it was, I saw the cover and went, ooh. And then I read the premise and went, okay. So it was definitely cover more than anything, but yeah, just haven't read it yet. Okay, so let's talk about my totals. So for the month of August, for the past 2 years, I hauled a total of 34 books. I read 10 of them. I unhauled 15, so that's pretty good. And then I have 15 currently still that are unread. So that's half. I think that's pretty good. I've read a little bit less than half, and then I have half that are still unread, but I did get rid of half. So I think those numbers are pretty good. I'm good with those. And now I have a couple more to add to my overflowing nightstand. That's another story. And yeah. Okay, so at the end of these videos, I've been choosing a couple of books from my pile to put on my nightstand so that I'm seeing them every day and I can hopefully pick them up soon. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick 3 for this one. I'm gonna pick up Killer Instinct by S.E. Green and Diary by Chuck. And these are both really short, so I know I can get through these pretty quickly. And this one I'm pretty sure I'm going to read and then unhaul it. And then this one I'm pretty sure I'm going to read and unhaul it. But this one I definitely want to read because it's the first book in a little either duology or a trilogy. I'm not sure which one, but it would let me know if I want to continue with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on my nightstand. And I'm also going to put Air of Fire on there. And the reason for this is because Elizabeth from the Owlery, I'll leave her channel link down below. She's going to do series September, and it's something she just posted about. And she wants to take the month of September and focus on finishing up some series or catching up on some series that she has that she wants to keep reading from. And I'm all about that because I have a lot of series that I'm either in the middle of, or I have started and I want to continue, or I want to start. And Throne of Glass is definitely one that I want to get back to. So I think I want to take the month of September, and if I don't completely catch up on it, I have 3 books to read, but at least get this next one read, this next installment. I have been so lucky not to have been spoiled for this series because I'm 3 books behind now, and book number 6 comes out in September, but I want to get back to it. I really enjoy this world. I really enjoy these characters. And so I think this is going to be one of my focuses for September. And again, I'll leave Elizabeth's channel link down below if you want to see more about what she's doing for September. But I think I'm going to be joining in on her on that. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys have, are excited to pick up here soon. Are there any books coming up here soon that you guys are excited about? I'd like to know that too. And I will talk to you guys again later. Hope you have a great day. Bye.